If you can help me change his mind, I will send you a little Bitcoin. Okay, welcome back to the Bitcoin Battle, where you get a well-rounded conversation about cryptocurrency. Joining me, as always, is my dad, who is the crypto skeptic, and I am basically your host. You're the crypto optimist. We are both novices when it comes to crypto. We're both learning about this, and we try to have a discussion usually once a week. Please stick around in the comments if you can help me out here and help me convince my dad. If you can help me change his mind, I will send you a little Bitcoin. So I think we're going to try to send somebody $10 worth of Bitcoin if you can help me change my dad's mind. So stick with us in the
Good luck.
comments and correct my dad if you can, and see if he agrees with you. Then yeah, we'll try to do that. So today we're going to be talking about a little bit about Cardano and Charles Hoskins because of a video that me and my dad watched recently. But again, let me start off by just telling you a little bit about my background, and my dad can tell you his background. I am just a filmmaker. I got into crypto maybe 2 years ago or something. I think the technology has a lot of promise. I've invested some of my money into it, pretty much most of my money. And I'm just learning as much as I can. And me and my dad argue all the time, so I figured we would record this and talk about it. So, Dad, if you want to tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll just get right into it.
Okay, I'm just a retired business entrepreneur. Had a business for a long time, and then went back to school, got an MBA, learned about finance and investing, and got a PhD in psychology. And we debate. My son got involved in cryptocurrency, and things that I heard didn't make any sense to me, and that's why I'm the skeptic. And we debate and argue over the value of cryptocurrencies and what's going on in the world and what people are saying. And this guy, Charles Hoskinson, was interviewed the other day, and my son sent me the link to watched it, and was pretty like, as usual, these crypto people are doing a lot of talking, but they don't say anything. But they sound good, and they've convinced a lot of people to give them money, which is interesting because here's Charles Hoskinson, like he makes his coins, so he's giving you a coin, you're giving him money. He's telling you that the dollar is no good, but he's happy to take it and give you his coin. So he's giving away his coin. You're giving him US dollars. It doesn't make sense. You think
Can
that
you
he want to keep
recap
his coins.
what was said in the video, if you can, like a little
Well,
bit?
it begins with saying that the US banking system is in full blown crisis, and him and Kathy Wood and everybody saying like, "Oh, it's the end of the banking system is going to fail now," which is like, "Oh, great news." I don't believe it. I mean, it's like, what is this? Like,
Well, it's
this
already
is
starting
just
to fail.
because a
We got
couple of banks.
Silicon Valley
No, a
Bank
couple of
is.
banks. Banks.
Go ahead.
Banks fail all the time. All right.
All the
The
time.
banking system doesn't fail all the time. There's always banks going out of business. There are always banks that are failing. It's
Well,
not like something new. That's why they have an insurance. They have an insurance situation, and it isn't when they talk about the FDIC and the insurance. The government is insuring your money up to $250,000, right? It
and what
isn't
happens
just
if you
that
have more than
insurance.
that?
Well, my
We've
point being
talked
is
about
that
this
the
before,
insurance. Wait,
and a lot of these
wait.
companies that are okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
My point was going to be that these banks pay, all the banks put money into an insurance pool. They insure themselves, so the money isn't just come. They love to say, "Oh, the money is coming. You and I pay for it to bail out these banks." Well, actually, it isn't. That's not true. The banks insure themselves. So there's like hundreds and hundreds of banks. The banks put money into insurance, they insure themselves. So when some of these banks are going bad and have to be fixed, they take that money out of the insurance. It's not like you and I are taking money out of our pockets paying for these people. The same thing with when 2008 and everything. It's like, oh yeah, these banks failed and the government bailed them out. Well, you know what? The government made them take the money to make sure that the banks were secure, and they
Obviously,
gave
they're
them
not taking it
loans
out of our
and they paid it
pockets
back.
directly. The
No, they didn't take it
it's
out of the government's
Yeah,
money.
we
The
pay
government,
for it
we got
with
paid back.
fees and all this other stuff. It comes back to us. It comes back to it's got to come from somewhere. It comes from somewhere.
It's just like any business, like businesses, like they're saying, like, oh, and this was another thing he said, that that they're making windfall profits. These banks are making money on you and I. We don't need them, right? Well, okay, like Amazon. All right, well, okay, Amazon, Jeff Bezos is making billions of dollars. Let's get rid of Amazon. We can do it ourselves. I mean, a bank is a business just like any other business. They provide a service, they get paid, they get a profit.
Okay,
There's
but now
nothing
what
wrong with that,
happens
and there's nothing
when
evil with that.
okay, what happens when Janet Yellen says, "Okay, well, we're going to bail out these particular banks, the big banks, but and then when they ask her, "Well, what about the smaller banks and the little mom and pop businesses, the smaller banks, the credit unions and stuff like that? What happens to those?" She said, "Well,
Well,
she's going to have the power to decide which ones to bail out." And so what's that going to
let me tell you
would
this,
you feel
right? The
safe
small
going to
credit
a
union,
smaller bank now? Everyone's going to move over
yes,
to the
yes,
larger
I would.
banks.
Well, keep this in mind, right? Like, people don't put thousands and thousands of dollars into a savings account in a bank and like leave it there, like, and just leave it there.
Bigger
That's
businesses
their
do. We
currency.
talked about this before.
Well, yeah, we did. But you're talking about credit, the big business, the big banks, right? Now you're talking about the smaller banks, and two different things. What I'm saying is the smaller banks, like the credit unions, right? They're not, because they're a local, in a local economy, they are not risking their money doing risky things like these big banks are doing. All right. So they're not going to go be failing like that. And this is another thing. What's the guy? He said, "Oh, they're making money. They take your money and they're making money out of thin air, and they're making, like, are they making money out of it?" It's like, it makes no sense. So, and like another thing he said was like the fractional reserve, right? Did you hear
Yeah.
that part of these banks have a fractional reserve, right?
Yeah.
They take money from us.
Yeah.
People put money in the bank, right? All right, and then they don't leave that money and sit it in the bank and do nothing, right? They take part of that money, not all of that money. That's a
what was
fractional.
his claim? What did he say? Can you repeat what he
He
said
said
or
that, fractional. He says, "Oh, these banks are allowed to have a fractional reserve." So, in other words, if people put money into the bank as savings, $100, right?
Yep.
The bank doesn't have to keep that $100 to protect themselves.
They loan it
They
out to
have to.
one person. They
Yeah,
keep a
they loan
fraction of
some.
it, and then
They
that
keep
person
a
may
fraction
loan
of
it
it
out
on them
to
in
some
case.
they
Well,
keep like
they have to
loaning it
keep
out.
some of it. They have to keep some cash in the
Yeah.
bank in case people want to take their money out.
And that's exactly
Well,
what
of
was going
course.
on with the crypto companies, which is what a lot of them fell apart because they were doing it on
No,
risky
well, I'm
bets.
saying, but what,
The crypto,
they're lend
the
the
exchanges and
they're,
stuff
wait, don't
like
change the subject.
Celsius
We're
or
talking
whatever.
about,
Yeah.
like, we're talking about the small
Yeah.
banks first. Let's go to that later. Now,
Okay.
I'm just saying that. So the credit union, they get money. All right, they're allowed to lend out that money. That's where you get mortgages, different things. They lend that money out. They make a profit they're getting higher interest rate in than what they're paying out. That's business. They
Okay.
provide a
Yep.
service. That's what the job is. There's nothing wrong with that. And this guy makes it
Okay.
sound like, oh, the banks have fractional reserves. They're going to collapse. Well, no,
No,
that's the
that's
way it's
not
been
why they
going
were
on
going to
forever.
collapse. That's not what he was saying. He wasn't saying it's
Yeah, it
because of
was. He
that.
was saying that it's
He's saying
dangerous. He
that
was saying it's dangerous
it
because they only have a fractional reserve. Well, that's the way it's supposed to be. That's what he was saying. He was saying it was dangerous because, oh my God, they've got fractional reserves. The fractional reserves are going to drive all
he
these
said, "Oh
banks out
my
of business.
God." No, he just talked like normal.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he said, I mean, him, Kathy Wood, they're all saying the U.S. banking industry is the banks are going to collapse.
Not
Yeah,
because
and Bitcoin's
that
going to turn to
it's
a
not
million.
because
It's
of
going to become a million in a
it's
couple of
not
days.
because of that specifically. It's
That was
they
one
are
of the things he
collapsing.
was saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now.
Banks, a small fraction of banks are always going out of business once in a while. That's the way it's always
Credit
been. Just
Suisse
like
and things like that. Yeah.
all
So it's,
businesses, there are businesses all day long that are regular corporations
there was
going out of
four
business.
major
New ones are
banks are
coming
going
up
out
every
of
day.
business right now.
Oh,
And that's
oh,
just
that's the end
happens
of
all
the,
the
and
time.
that's
Oh, yeah.
how many,
Okay.
all right, how many banks are there in the world?
I don't know how many
And
major banks.
how much money, how many trillions of dollars are involved in banks? This is like
Oh, so you
this
think what's
small as a
happening now
small.
is just oh yeah, this is normal. This has nothing
Well,
to
what
do
it
with all
is
like the entire world shutting down for like 2 years
no,
and
the
then
entire
printing
no.
trillions of dollars and
That's in play. That's a whole different thing. What I'm saying,
yeah,
what you want to know why this
the can
happened?
that's gotten kicked
Because
all the way down the
well,
road and now we're
that's a
catching up
different
to it
thing.
right now.
You're mixing apples and oranges. What I'm saying is, in 2008, all right, the banks were allowed because in the 1990s, Bill Clinton and the Republicans got rid of a lot of the safety valves with the Glass-Steagall Act. All right,
And now
the
we're going to be
1930s and the
blaming
banks
everything
burst.
on the Republicans. Okay.
Well, wait a second. Let me just finish. All right. So,
Okay.
no, Bill
I
Clinton's a
hear.
Democrat. Bill Clinton's a
Mm.
Democrat, so let that happen. All right. So they got rid of a lot of the safety features of the Glass-Steagall Act. All right. So that fixed the banking situation. 2016, Trump and the Republicans come in and they get rid of a lot of those regulations, which allowed SVB to do what they did. They shouldn't have been if those regulations
They sh-
hadn't been
They
taken
shouldn't have
away,
been
they
taking the
wouldn't have
money
been
and
able to
investing it in
allow
one of the safest
the
places,
risky.
the
They should not have been. It was a
bonds.
risky. It was a risky. It was
No,
a risky
do you
investment.
understand that
Everybody knows that it was still risky.
they
Bonds
put
are
it
not.
in
You
one of
think
the
the bonds?
safest places? Just the problem was that it had to stay there for like 4 years, and nobody knew that they were going to raise the rates so high, so fast, and
Wait.
that's what happened.
That was a risky.
That's what broke the banks.
That was a risky. They. Everybody knows that what they did was risk. Other banks didn't do that because the difference was they wanted to make more of a profit because they took a fixed rate on the bonds. They could have taken a variable rate on the bonds and made less money. What they did was they took a fixed rate, which gave them more profit, but was more risky, and that would have been against the regulation had they not been changed back in 2016 when Trump was president and the Republicans had control of all that.
All
So
right,
that's all
so
I'm saying. I'm just saying we need regulations. You guys have said that you need regulations. The banks need to be regulated.
no. Nobody said we need regulations. It's what like what's happening with Coinbase right now with the SEC. Now we're going away from the Charles Hoskins thing, but we're getting into what I wanted to talk about, which was the Coinbase thing and the SEC. The the thing is, Armstrong, what's his name? Is it Brian Armstrong? No, is it who's the Ben? No, Brian Armstrong. Yeah, Coinbase. Supposedly, he's been just trying to follow the rules as best he can. He has no he keeps trying to uh you know follow whatever rules they are, but there are no rules. It's not that he's like asking for regulation. He's just trying to do his company by the book, but there is no book. So right now they're not telling him, they're kind of saying they're basically like saying hey guys, we want to know, we want to do this thing, but there's no rules yet. So they keep doing it, but they just keep, the SEC just says, oh no, well you can't do that. Like, okay, well you could tell me that that's one of the things, but then they do something else and say, oh well you can't do that. And they're just saying, well what can we do? Just tell me, instead of just telling me every time I do something wrong, tell me what I can and can't do. Kind of seeing, it's not that they're asking for the regulation. Oh, we need regulation. No, we just want to know where the line is so we don't cross it.
I can't speak to that because I haven't followed that.
Oh,
I
okay.
told you before we talked. There's nothing I can say. So You
All right,
did
so they
that, but
gave.
I'm not done with Charles Hoskinson.
I'm
All right.
not done. We haven't even gotten into it. My thing with Charles Hoskins in
Well,
that, let me say, because you've said what you're kind of talking about. You think he's a fraud or a scam artist or whatever.
well, he
But
is. I mean, it's a
well,
fact that he
okay. You already
claimed
said. You already
that
said.
he had a degree, he had
All
a
right.
PhD,
I
he
got it.
had a
I was talking.
he didn't even
Okay.
graduate from a
Okay,
college.
got it. You can
Well,
get
you
to
just
those
said
things. You said this is what you think. So where my stance on it is, uh he said some things in a video. I agree with the things he said in the video. Okay.
what
I
do you
don't
agree with?
know
Wait, what do you agree
well
with?
about the as far as with the government and the fiat Ponzi scheme sort of stuff and things about the bank. Well, can I finish my
So
thought?
wait.
I let you
So
speak for a long time
go ahead,
without ever getting to
go
make
ahead, go
my
ahead. Fine.
position clear on this.
Okay, all right. You agree it's a Ponzi scheme. The
I
banks are a
agree with the
Ponzi scheme.
things. Yeah, yeah. Just like yeah. So my feeling about him is I don't know. I don't know if he's a fraud or scam artist or not. I don't know at this point. There's a possibility that he may be saying the things that I agree with and a lot of crypto people agree with just to get people on his side and then sell a coin so he can fund his foundation. Who knows? That's a possibility. I need to know more about him and what he does. I don't know that much about it, but I mean, it's possible he may be growing an army of Cardano people that are very loyal to the cause, just so they put money into his foundation so he can fund whatever research he wants to do or whatever. He's a mathematician. I don't know. That's all. So I'm just learning more about it. So that's my position
It's
is I
kind of
don't
funny,
have a clear position on him yet.
but you think that banks are a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because
I think pretty much
the
all of it
legacy people
is a
say that
Ponzi.
Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is a Ponzi scheme because there's
Yeah.
nothing there, right? There's nothing backing it, and now all of a sudden, oh, the banks are Ponzi. No, the banks are Ponzi scheme.
They're both a
Well, actually,
Ponzi
like the
scheme.
money's there.
They're both. It's all a Ponzi scheme.
If that's the case, then you might as well just kill yourself because there's nothing
No,
else to
because
do. Because the
the
Ponzi
point
scheme
is
does
as long as
everything
something is
collapses.
as
Everything
long
collapses.
as yes, eventually everything collapses as long as you're it goes in a cycle of things is Rome was a Ponzi scheme. As soon as it like started to fall apart, it falls apart. Same thing the US dollar, if it
You're
falls
using
apart,
the
it falls
word
apart.
Ponzi scheme for everything that happens in the world. That's just means it's meaningless. When you
No,
stop
you
calling everything a Ponzi scheme, that means it makes the word meaningless. The Ponzi scheme actually has a meaning. It's when you're taking money in, you're not telling anybody, you use the new money to pay off the old people. That's
no,
the way it
no.
is. It's
That's how
banks are
one
not
Ponzi
doing
scheme.
that.
That's exactly what they're doing. They are literally doing that. Someone else is you put your money in. Do you think they're just holding your money? No, someone else puts their money in, you get their money out. That's how it works. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's the same thing, except
The only
it's
difference
working. It
is
works fine.
the only difference is the net that stays the same or this profits in a bank, right? In a Ponzi scheme, eventually all that money goes out and you can't keep paying everybody. The banks keep paying
That's
everybody.
exactly what's happening with the banks. They have fractional reserves. They don't have your money there. They're doing other things with your money.
But
If too many people
but
try to
they
take it
still
out,
own
and
the
then
money.
they can't work. It all falls apart. And the banks
The money
this if hey,
they still
guess
have the
what?
money.
What's his name?
The money is
What's
lent out. They can get the
yeah.
money back.
No, they
In a
can't
Ponzi
because
scheme,
they
there
have a
is no
net.
money there.
Hey, Dad, why don't you look up all your banks and find out how much they are in the red? What bank do you have? What bank?
In the red. What do you
Yeah,
mean by in the red?
net
What do you
losses. How
mean by
many
in the red?
or unrealized losses? Okay, what bank do you have? You have
What?
Bank of
Explain to me
America.
what in the wait. Explain to me what an unrealized loss is.
if
Can you
they go,
explain to
if
me
they
what
need to get your money, if they need to get your money and they sell their assets
that's
to
an
get you your
unrealized
money,
loss?
right? No, no,
That's
I'm
an
saying
unrealized
right
loss?
now they're in the red.
Yeah.
They're all in the red right now.
But
If
what
they
does
go
that
to
mean?
sell
When
it
you
right
said it's,
now,
wait, you said to me that they have unrealized losses. I'm asking you,
because
educate me.
they're
What does it mean to have an unrealized loss?
meaning that they're it's like when I bought Bitcoin closer to the top, right? And I'm down on my Bitcoin. If I sell it right then, that's a realized loss. But because I never sold it, that's an unrealized loss. Yeah, it can come back up and I'll have my gains or whatever. But right now, the banks are in the red. If you need, so if I needed to get my Bitcoin, I needed money and I had to sell my Bitcoin at that point, I realized my loss and I'm behind. I don't have the money that I had. The same thing is
So what you're
happening
saying,
with the
all right,
banks
all right. So what you're saying is
because they
all of
were
these banks are insolvent? Are you saying that those banks are insolvent?
if that's what insolvent means for them, yeah,
Well,
that they
well,
can't get your money.
insolvent means that you have more debt than you have
Yeah.
assets.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
telling
Then
me
that's what's
that
happened.
all of
That's why
these
SVB.
banks, all
That's
of
why
these banks.
SVB. That's why Credit Suisse. That's why all the banks. Yeah, because there was the run on the banks.
Wait, wait,
People
wait, wait,
needed to
wait.
get their
You
money.
named two banks. You named two banks, but you're saying all the banks.
Yeah. If Bank of America, if there was a run on Bank of America, they would also have uh losses and they would be insolvent.
Wait, wait. So in other words, oh, you're saying that if
Okay.
today everybody who had money in Bank of America asked for the money, Bank of America couldn't get all of that out. That's what
Correct.
you're saying.
Right now, Bank of America has 109 billion of unrealized losses right now at this moment.
So you're wait,
March 4th,
wait.
as
So
of
are you
March.
telling me that Bank of America has 109 billion dollars more what they owe than what they have?
That's what it's
Are you
saying.
telling me that?
Unrealized losses. That's what
Are
it's
you
saying.
saying that? Are you sure that that's what that
That's what
means? Because I don't believe for 1 minute that Bank of America is 109 million billion dollars
of
in the red.
unrealized in the
Well, what
in
does
their
that mean? But
unrealized
you're telling me that unrealized losses means that, but that
of
doesn't
what
make
they
any
have.
sense.
Well, let me read the article then. Let's pull this
What,
up.
you're telling me about unrealized losses, but you're not explaining. I don't think that you know what an unrealized loss is.
Because the bonds that they have right now, if they needed to, if they needed the money right now, they would be in the
Oh,
red
today.
109. Yeah, if they needed to get if they had to
The
sell it,
bonds. Is that all they have? All the money, everything they have, all their assets are in bonds?
I don't know. I have to read exactly what, but I'm just reading
Well,
of.
you're making claims that just
Okay,
like
okay,
these
okay.
guys
Here,
here.
I'll just read it. Bank of America is sitting on the largest losses among the country's biggest banks in a key portion of its bond portfolio. Bank of
Oh, wait,
America.
wait, wait. Stop right there. Wait, 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 wait.
Can
Just stop right there. There you go.
I finish reading
In
and
a key
then
portion of their key portion of their thing. So
okay.
in part of Bank of America, they've got in the bond
Well,
and of it.
let me finish
Yeah.
reading it then.
Well,
This is what you think you know
yeah.
everything, but we're trying to
Well,
get
you
to
just
this.
said you made the
This is
point. The
what
point
tanked
it's not in the whole thing.
SVB. This particular thing happened. Run on the bank. They needed to liquidize their assets, and this is what Bank of America, like other banks, invests in treasury securities and mortgage-backed securities in addition to making loans. Banks have seen the value of those bond portfolios decline in value as interest rates have risen since the start of 2022. Bond prices fall when interest rates increased. Excuse me, burping. Bank of America had 862 billion of debt securities on its balance sheet, totaling roughly 3 trillion at the end of 2022. Of that, 632 billion of bonds, mostly federal agencies' mortgage securities, were classified as held to maturity for accounting purposes. Banks don't have to record losses on changes in those securities' value, cutting into their capital, unless the debt is sold. Still, holdings in that bucket, which carry minimal or no credit risk, were nonetheless showing a loss of about 109 billion at the end of 2022 due to the rise in interest rates over the past year.
You know, you sound just like all the other YouTubers who like take a piece of something out, make it sound like it's the end of the world, and when you
Listen,
really
no one
dig
said
into
it's the end of the world.
well, yeah, you did. You said all the banks are like, look at Bank of America's got 109 unrealized, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, fine. It's not causing it to go out of business or something like that.
Nobody said it was
It's
going
just
out of
that you
business.
they take these things. They take these things and they make it.
All
They
I
twist it
said
into
was
what
it's
fits
a
their
Ponzi.
story.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Well, that's bullshit. It's not. And just like unrealized losses, what is a Ponzi scheme? You're using the word Ponzi scheme in a way that it's not what it is. Banks are not
If
running
people
Ponzi
stop
schemes.
putting their money in, the whole thing would collapse. If you have more money being pulled out, the way that it should work, if you put in your money, you should be able to get your money out whenever you need it. That's what they're trying to do with a lot of these crypto things. You have your money,
you're telling
you need
me
it, you
for
take
the
it out.
last 90 years, stupid America has been running their country like this, the whole world. Now all of a sudden, oh my God, the YouTubers are telling us that the bank's falling. Let's everybody go to our bank and get all our
Not
money.
everyone.
And
No one is
let's
saying
buy
everyone.
crypto.
Nope.
Let's
Nope.
buy crypto with money. That's
No.
what they're
What
telling
they're
you to do.
saying and what
You know,
we're
the
saying
banks
and
are
what
falling
I'm
apart.
saying
Buy
is put
crypto because we have the answer.
a portion, put some of your money into a
Well, if
place to
they only
hedge
take a
against some of this
portion,
other.
if they're only going to, people take out a portion out of banks all the time. That's how it works because they never take 100%. Is never. There aren't runs on banks, right? Because where are you going to put your money? You're going to put it in. You're going to go buy Bitcoin tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yes,
doing.
that's what Charlie wants you to do
No, he
because
doesn't. He
he'll
wants
give
you
you
to buy
Bitcoin,
Cardano.
and Charlie, and yeah, all right. Charlie wants you to buy Cardano, and what does he get out of it? Money, U.S. dollars. What's he do
And
with
that's
it?
why
Last I heard, he took 20 million. He took 20 million. 20, yeah, it was 20 million. He took 20 million, gave it to Carnegie
Carnegie
Mellon
Mellon.
University
Yeah.
so that they would build a building for him and put his name on it. Such a good guy. These people are smart. They're slimier they're worse than the politicians, in my opinion. When
So
he
a
sits
guy
there
who
and says the banks are failing, but
donates
crypto
money
is
to a
the answer, it's like,
university is a slime ball. Well, I don't understand how
yeah,
that.
yeah,
The guy
yeah,
donates $20
because he
million
wants to
dollars to a
because he
university.
wants to put a
They put his
because he
name
wants to
on it
put
because he gave.
he wants to put his name
That's what,
on a building.
you know
That's
why
like
he
just
want.
smart.
You know why he gave the money. He gave the money so he'd have his name on the building. That's why. That's what. Yeah.
Well,
What a
the
schmuck.
guy,
That's what.
yeah, the guy the guy was part of Ethereum when they were going to start it, right? When they started it, right? And he got kicked out because he wanted to be for profit and they wanted it to be non-profit. The
I
guy's
get
only interested
that.
in money.
Okay.
He's
Well,
only
that's
interested
one.
in money. And he's interested in your money. He wants to give you his coin that he made out of thin air and so that he can have US dollars and all of the people that are stupid enough
That
to
part
give him
I
US
would.
dollars.
Okay, Jesus
Coin.
Christ, you never stop talking. Okay, so
Don't
that
swear.
one
This is a
part
family
that wasn't
thing.
a swear. This is
Yes, it
a
was.
Christian
You
show.
took the name of
Apparently,
God.
if I what do you know?
You took the name of God in vain.
I was praying for him to make you stop talking. So here's the thing. I'm trying to say that I'm partially agreeing with you on that one side. Okay, too loud. Am I shouting?
No, I'm just hitting my head.
Yeah, I was saying that I'm trying.
You're agreeing with me on what?
I don't that was one part that I found a little shady that he or not shady, but I wanted to dig into more about why he would want to make it for profit. That was one thing that stood out to me. But what I don't do is just assume why. No, because he's a shady guy. Like, I don't make up things about people.
Well, it's a
I
pattern.
want to hear him talk about it. When I heard about him, whatever people said, oh, he claimed to have gotten a PhD or whatever. I didn't want to read more articles about it. I wanted to try to find him addressing that because I want to hear what he has to say about it. See if that holds any
He
water.
also claimed.
That's the difference
He
between
also
me and
claimed.
you. I want to get it from the horse's mouth.
Well, all right, because you don't believe what reporters are reporting, but you do believe the YouTube people. I'm just
No,
saying that
I never agree. I
well,
never believe anyone.
when the people who do the research, like about regarding his claiming to have been in a PhD program, right? They went in and they went to the university and
Okay.
the university said he never even graduated from college,
Good,
right?
but I never.
So that's a pattern. All right, so
I haven't heard him claim anything, so I want to hear him claim it,
he claimed
and then
he
hear. I don't
well, he
believe
claimed he
people.
did,
I don't believe when people write articles because they write all
but
kinds
you
of
believe
crap.
him.
No, I
If
haven't heard
he
him.
tells you that he did,
No,
if he tells you no, but if he says no, I have a PhD, will you believe him?
no, but I haven't heard him say that.
Well, but I said if you heard him say that he had a PhD, would you gonna believe him?
Uh, if I didn't have a reason not to at the moment, like
You can
I
believe
would just take his
it.
word for it for the moment, and then if I learned
Oh, you're gonna
otherwise,
take
and
his
then if
word
some,
for it,
no,
but
and
a
then
journalist, you're not
no,
gonna take their word
hey,
for it. Oh my God.
no, I did.
Why do you say? Why would you take the word for the person, but you wouldn't take
No,
any
at the
the
moment, if
word for the
somebody just said,
journalist?
no, I would take it at face value. If somebody just says, oh, you say, I have a PhD. Oh, okay, big deal, whatever. But I'm not going to say, if you say, oh, blah, 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 whatever kind of facts and figures, and you should believe me because I have a PhD. I don't know. I'm not going to just believe
But
you. The PhD doesn't mean anything to me, is what I'm saying.
lying about it would.
Sure, but I
It would
haven't
mean
heard
I
him
don't care if
say.
he dropped
I
out of it,
haven't heard
but
him
if he
say,
lied, if
yeah.
he says
If that journalist then presented a video of him saying, "I have a PhD," and then presented the facts that he doesn't in fact have a PhD, yes, then I would take that as true. That would take their word for what's being said. But at the moment, I have not heard him claim to have had a PhD. Is all I'm saying.
okay, so you haven't heard it, all right? So I'm bringing up that it's been pretty well documented that he did say that. You can do the research, but I'm saying
Okay.
I've seen the documentation that he did claim that. He claimed to work
And
for
then
the
again,
Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency too. So there's a
again,
pattern. How
I
about this?
still want to hear.
Well, you can't. All right.
I still want to hear
I
him explain why, and that's it. That's
so
all I'm saying. And I
you're
started
being
this entire thing.
agnostic about
No,
it.
yeah, and I have started this whole
Yeah.
thing was I have my reservations about the guy. I haven't made up my mind, and that's it. That's all I said.
All right. Then
What I'm
how
saying is
about we
I don't make up
compromise?
my mind on about somebody
Yeah.
based on what other people hearsay from other people. Is all I'm saying. That's it. We
And
only
you
have
don't
three
believe
minutes.
journalists. And you wouldn't
No,
believe a
no,
journalist who's done research. God forbid.
no.
Or
There's
a
so
number
yeah.
of journalists. You wouldn't believe that. What about evidence of other things that like he's lied in
Oh,
other things,
well, read.
or
I'll
shown that he's
see it,
meant to
and
be like kind of money oriented, or the fact that he lied about the banks going bad, or saying that
there's
banks
just
are no good,
way
but
too much
cryptocurrency is a
propaganda
solution.
out
And when
there
I
right
hear a
now.
guy
So
say,
I want to hear it for myself. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying
okay,
again, I wouldn't necessarily say if a journalist said something, I wouldn't just say, oh, they're lying just because they're journalists. I just won't take their word for stuff
okay,
just because
have
they
you've watched his interview, right?
yeah, and he
Okay,
said some pretty good things.
you
That's
liked
it.
it.
That's all I said.
All
But
right,
Dad, we got to wrap this up.
okay,
We only got 2 minutes, and then this is
okay,
gonna close up. So,
okay.
hey, I don't think we got very far today. But
That was
if
it.
anyone if anyone in the comments can add to this conversation to get my dad to say, yeah, okay, I changed my mind about this or that, anywhere, I will personally find a way to send you some Bitcoin. I'll send you $10 in Bitcoin to help me out here in my quest to orange pill my dad. So
And if they don't, you'll send me the $10.
maybe we'll see. Well, I'm
Buy
hoping
me
to get,
dinner.
so there could be 100 comments in here, and then I owe you every time somebody said something stupid. No, no thanks. So anyway, yeah, if you guys learn something or want to join in the conversation or have some topics for us to discuss, please drop us a line in the comments, and please like, subscribe, and until next time, we'll see you later.